His name was Geralt of Rivia. He was a witcher, a professional monster slayer. An unusual contract to lift the curse that held a monarch's daughter. It was enough to spend the night with the princess, dusk till dawn. If only she were not a deadly beast, a striga. The traitor responsible for the curse became the bait. Though gravely wounded, the Witcher lifted the curse and gained fame. The world changed with the coming of the Great War, the time of the sword and axe, the time of disdain. Geralt of Rivia disappeared, all but forgotten. But that's another story.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is SorcererDave, and welcome to Let's Play The Witcher. Enhanced Edition, to be specific. The Witcher was first released in 2007 for the PC, if I recall, and then the Enhanced Edition came out approximately, I think, a year later. It's an interesting game. It's a very interesting game. There's a lot of renewed interest in The Witcher lately, mostly because of the Netflix series having just recently released, which has seen a renewed interest in the books from people and in the games, particularly The Witcher 3. Recently, I think it broke its all-time record for number of concurrent users on Steam, or something like that, which is pretty impressive considering this is years after the game was even released. However, this is where the trilogy of The Witcher games starts, the original The Witcher, simply entitled. I think the Rise of the White Wolf bit was added later on with the so-called director's cut of the game that was released on Steam in North America, I think, at some point. But it's an interesting game. It's from, well, over a decade ago now, and it's a little janky, it's a little awkward, and it's a little weird compared to The Witcher 3. Many of you watching this have probably only played The Witcher 3, or maybe some of you might have also played The Witcher 2. This game, I think, is an awesome game. I think it's very good. I very much enjoy it now, just as much as when I did when it first released. But it is of that grand tradition of European role-playing games that are a little bit on the jank side, shall we say. I think that tradition kind of starts for me with Gothic and carries on right through to the present day with stuff like Kingdom Come Deliverance. The one saving grace of games like that, I think, is what they lack in a bit of polish, they gain in the form of just coming across like the developers really, really cared about the game they were working on. A lot of effort and a lot of passion went into these games, and I think The Witcher, the original Witcher, is no exception. Based on the original books by Andrzej Sapkowski. I don't know if I've pronounced that right. Please don't hate me if I haven't. I say based on. The Witcher games are actually effectively a bit of a sequel, unofficial sequel to the books. They take place after the events of the books, oddly enough, which is a bit strange, but there it is. So if you're watching the Netflix series, which is based on the books, these games will not spoil anything for you there. It'll just add backstory, essentially. And one of the game's problems, admittedly, I suppose, is that it can be quite difficult to get to grips with as a newbie. It certainly was for me when I first played this, simply because it does sort of throw you into the thick of things without an awful lot of explanation for someone who hasn't already been familiar with the books. But anyway, I'm going to be taking you through The Witcher, the original Witcher. I think it's a great game. I think it's still worthy of being played these days. And I hopefully will, without too much mucking about, be able to get through all of this, and then possibly move on to The Witcher 2, and then move on to The Witcher 3. I have for a while wanted to go back and play all three of these games all the way through, after having finished The Witcher 3 not so long ago. And I thought to myself, actually it'd be quite nice to go back and play through the whole saga, you know, dragging my save games across with each time with all of the choices and consequences running through them. So that's what we're going to do, folks, starting with the original here. It should be noted that this is slightly modded. I'd have the Rise of the White Wolf mod, which overhauls the user interface in the game a little bit, because the original user interface in this game is frickin' ugly, to say the least. And also I've got some general texture mods that add some high-resolution textures and things to the game. And on top of that, this is in fact the Enhanced Edition. And I say this only because what you're seeing in this series is actually quite a different incarnation of the game to what was originally released back in 2007. It really is kind of night and day, the difference, it must be said. But that's okay. That's okay. We're playing a better version of the game, and who wouldn't want to play the better version of the game, right? Anyway, enough talking from me. I think we should probably get on with it. Let's start a new game. We have a choice here. We have the actual game itself and the set of DLCs, which people kind of forget exists for this game. A series of one-off little adventures based in the world of The Witcher, as you can see here. I may get around to doing those as an added extra to this series once I finish the main game. This is a long game, though. We're going to be at this for a little while, I think. But we'll see. But we're going to start with the original. Play The Witcher. Venture through a dark world where there is no good or evil, just choices and their consequences. I don't know about no good or evil, okay? There's definitely good and evil in this world, but it's just trying its best to be a little bit edgy, I think. But we'll forgive it. We'll forgive it. It's fine. And difficulty-wise, I'm going to be a medium difficulty pleb, I'm afraid. We got three choices here. There's easy, medium, and hard. Easy is apparently for novice gamers. Combat is easier. Alchemy is not required to survive. Intermediate level recommended for most gamers. Combat is challenging. Alchemy is useful. And then there's advanced. For advanced gamers, hard. I don't know what constitutes an advanced gamer. Really couldn't tell you. But the combat is apparently difficult and alchemy is required to survive. I'm going to play it on medium because I'm not terribly good at this game. I've played it once, most of the way through. I never actually quite finished it, I must admit, because it is quite long. But I can never claim to be very good at this game. And when you're recording for YouTube as well, on top of that, it just makes you even worse at a game that I'm already not that great at. So you're not going to see some amazing 10 out of 10 gameplay from me in this series. Apologies, you've come to the wrong place for that, I gotta say. So I'm going to play on intermediate. That should be okay. Combat is challenging. Alchemy is useful. Let's give it a go. We also have a choice of control mode here. Now this is very strange indeed. Basically, we got two modes. We have the original. The keyboard and mouse over the shoulder camera mode, which you'll probably be familiar with if you've played The Witcher 3 or The Witcher 2, because it's more or less quite like that. And then this very odd mouse mode where you sort of play in an isometric top-down camera view and you control everything with the mouse. And it's a little bit odd. It's a little bit odd. A bit of a hangover from the days of isometric RPGs that made it into this game. It's much better to play with keyboard and mouse and over-the-shoulder camera, though. Much, 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 much better, and that's what we're going to be doing.
The northern kingdoms nursed their wounds for 5 years after the Great War. Plague and famine raged, the death toll unknown. A few surviving elven and dwarven units sought refuge amidst forests, where they prepared for a final, desperate fight. Abominable beasts ruled backwoods, highways, and former battlefields alike. In cities and villages, folk were left wondering what had happened to the Witchers. The Blue Mountains in the north of Kedwen. The year 1270, 5 years after the Great War.
right. I've no idea where you've been. The important thing is you're alive and among friends. Though you look like you just left your grave.
I remember nothing.
We'll speak soon enough. We're nearing Kaer Morhen. We're home. Leo, get Triss.
Your time nears its end, witches. Enjoy things while you can.
Wrong. You missed the parry. I keep repeating this. Pirouette always followed by a back cross parry. Always.
Barely 2 days have passed since they found you.
Mm-hmm. I owe my recovery to you. Thank you, Triss.
Remember anything?
Not much. Look below. I know the moves. Pirouette, parry, cut. I can't explain it, but I feel a bond when we speak. I know you were important.
Garrett, we...
I need to think.
Time flows slowly at Kaer Morhen.
Ha! It worked! Not bad. Take a rest. What do you think, Geralt? Is he ready for the path?
Wait for the rest. He's alone. The Professor promised 50 orens for every freak we kill.
He's mine!
Vesemir, we got company.
I'm shutting the gates. Garrett, grab a sword off the training forms.
Alright, so wasting not very much time at all, the game is thrusting us immediately into combat. Move the cursor over the sword and click to equip it. Right, that one there. When I first played this game, it took me ages to find the bloody sword. I skipped the message and didn't have any idea what I was doing. I can't promise you'll have much more idea of what I'm doing now, years later. Left click on an enemy to attack. Hostile characters have red vitality indicators. Friendly characters have green ones. The combat in this game, if you're familiar with The Witcher 3 or The Witcher 2, I'm going to assume, it's a bit of an assumption, but I'm going to kind of assume that a lot of you have played The Witcher 3, or have at least seen it. So I'm going to make a lot of comments on how things are different in this game and what things are the same. Yeah, thank you very much. And the combat in this game is one of the things that is very different. It's kind of almost a rhythm-based mechanic. You walk up to an enemy, you left-click, and then you have to keep left-clicking when the icon changes color.
How do you feel?
Fine.
Anyone know who the intruders are?
Ordinary bandits would never attack Kaer Morhen.
That we know, Marigold. You could try some of your famous magic.
In due time, Lambert.
Enough! We need to check the other possible passages to the upper courtyard.
Jolly good. Yeah, the movement in this game is very slippy and slidey. It's very odd. This game actually uses a version of the BioWare Aurora engine, which was originally used for Neverwinter Nights. And having played a lot of Neverwinter Nights and a lot of Knights of the Old Republic myself, I can definitely feel that sense of weirdness when it comes to the movement. It's part of the reason the controls and stuff in this game are a little bit awkward. For the second and third games, CD Projekt Red made their own engine themselves, instead of using the Aurora engine again, and I can see why.
What's happening?
They're trying to break down the gate!
They won't get anywhere without a battering ram.
Shit! What is that?
A frightener. One mean beast.
Savola. I know him. A mage as ambitious as he is insane.
They're coming up here. Get ready!
There's more! They're entering the upper courtyard!
The one in glasses is the professor. Murder for hire. I sense magic. There's a sorcerer among them.
Professor, you know the way. Get to it.
The professor is wanted in Redania, Temeria, and Kedwen. A real maggot. I don't recognize the sorcerer.
Marigold, I'm interested in whether you can disarm Savola. The rest is witch's work.
I'll try.
They're coming.
The frightener is very dangerous, but it's vulnerable to loud noises.
The bell's in the upper courtyard.
Exactly. Eskel, Lambert, you'll help me stop the frightener and the bandits. Leo, stay behind us. Geralt, you open the gate to the upper courtyard. When we're there, Triss can stop Savola and his pet, while we prepare to deal with the professor and the unknown mage.
I'll figure something out.
Let's do this. Bleed them a bit down here before withdrawing. Geralt, follow the wall and break through to the tower where there's a passage to the upper courtyard.
Alone?
They're just bandits, though one might be infamous. You must open the gate. We'll be waiting. Good luck, Wolf.
Follow the minimap marker to find a quest objective. Left click on the map icon and press the M key to view a map of your current location. Like so. There you go. Also, Geralt's moving entirely without my input there. How about me, sir? Chaining attacks. Here we go, yes. Chain attacks will kill enemies more efficiently. Left click only when the cursor changes to a flaming sword. Tip, chaining attacks will require precise timing. Clicking too will disrupt the attack, and clicking too late. Clicking too soon even will... I can't read today, apparently. Whatever. Like I said, it's rhythm-based. You click when the icon changes colour. If you click when it's red as opposed to yellow, it's better than if you just click when it's yellow. If you click sooner than that, you cock it up, basically. And Geralt's just hopping around now, and I don't even know why he's doing that. I have no idea. We'll just go with it. It's fine. This game has weird movement. Damn it. Screwed it up there. Alright, that's you dealt with. And you, sir. As you can see, there's really not a lot to it, actually. I think it gets a bit more advanced as you get later into the game, but for now it's just pretty straightforward. Although you do get different combat styles, which the game will get into in a minute. And yeah, we've just stunned him, so Garrett's going to do a very over-the-top finisher. What's that about? It's just showing off, isn't he? Alright, you as well, come on.
You'll regret the day you were born.
And right in there with the pommel. I'm not sure what was that about, Garrett? Man, I forgot how crazy the finishes were in this game. You just like stuck the pommel of his sword into the dude and then just... That was crazy stuff, man. Realistic medieval sword combat. This isn't. It's fairly safe to say. Right, where are we going? All these rose petals on the floor are supposed to be blood splatters, by the way. It just looks a bit strange. Things looking a bit strange is going to be a bit of a feature of this game going forward, so brace yourselves. There we go, combat styles. We're currently in the strong style. That's what we've been using up to this point. We can now switch to the fast style to deal with opponents who are a bit smaller and quicker, like this fella. If we use the wrong style for the wrong type of opponent, obviously it makes life much harder for us. And look at the way his feet are wobbling! Dangly wobbly feet, that's really weird. Okay, anyway. Use the strong style to defeat larger armored opponents. Switch to this style by left-clicking on the wolf icon or by pressing Z. Yeah, let's just press Z. Jolly good. Away with you, pigeons! Active pause. Press the spacebar to toggle active pause mode. Yeah, we can do that basically to click on things, essentially, in the menu here, that we wouldn't otherwise be able to, unless we were playing in isometric mouse mode, which, as I've already stated, is weird and I'm not using it. Yep, fast style for you. I almost forgot. I was too busy talking. And then fast style, there we go. Also, they're shooting arrows at me, the bastards. Okay. Yeah, hello everybody.
No way through here. Follow me. Back to Savola.
Yes. Slow-mo! Awesome! Jumping across chasms in cutscenes, hurrah! You can really see in this game, if you look hard enough, the kind of DNA, the genesis of what CD Projekt Red would eventually end up doing with games like The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 3. And they really got their eye in as a developer studio. And I'm using the wrong combat style again. That'll probably happen a lot. There we go.
Should have run when you had the chance.
Can we... Yeah, oh, this is awkward. Right, I'm just going to click on him and there we go. Right. It has that Aurora Engine style thing going on where if you click on an enemy, your character will just immediately go straight up to them without any input from the WAS and D keys. And sometimes it's easier to do that, because as you saw a minute ago there, if you don't do that and you try and run up to them with the WAS and D keys, you get sort of weirdly out of position and Garrett ends up just sort of swinging his sword at the thin air. And again, yeah, I'm sort of dodging and stuff. Right? You can double hit the directional keys to do little dodges, but maybe it's just my crap keyboard or something, but he keeps doing it occasionally when I don't want him to. Hello, gentlemen. Let's take out you as well with the fast style. And then you finally with strong style. So we can open this portcullis. There we go. Left click on the winch to open the gate. Press Alt to highlight all usable objects nearby. I forgot you could do that, actually. That's very useful. Thank you, tutorial.
Damn it, Garrett. It's a miracle you're alive.
You could have told me about the stairs.
Lambert and Eskel were supposed to fix them yesterday.
We're not Masons.
No matter. The professor and the other mage must be hiding in the keep.
Face the truth, Witchers. They're here to rob you.
Triss, child, we have nothing of value. Some good steel snow fox pelts.
I mean the laboratory and you know it. Someone wants your famed mutagens.
You're jumping to conclusions.
Triss may be right. We need to find out what they want.
One thing at a time. We shouldn't turn our backs on a strong mage leading a frightener.
And you can't let the bandits in the lab.
Right as usual, Triss. Geralt, you've dealt with mages. Find out what this one wants. Leo will guide you.
Just reconnaissance, or...?
No one will be sorry if some of them lose their heads. You'll manage, Wolf. Just remember Leo's with you.
I can handle this. We'll see what's happening inside and be back.
Take these potions just in case. Drink the Thunderbolt now and keep Swallow for when you need healing. I'll be able to tell you how they work. We'll make sure no one else gets inside. Triss, stay with us in case Savola has any new ideas.
Right, inventory. Screen, here we go. Looks a little bit different to it did in the original game. Let's see, we got the Thunderbolt potion, right-click to use, and Swallow, right-click to use. Basically, Swallow's health increases vitality regeneration. Now, this game has a really cool potion system. It's one of the things I really like about this game, actually. It has a great alchemy system, too, but we'll get to that later. Really cool potion system. You don't drink health potions and stuff in the middle of combat like you usually do in most RPGs. You actually drink it before combat, and the potion will last for a very long time indeed, actually. Like a good at least 30 minutes or so they'll last for. So we can drink this Swallow potion right now, and the Thunderbolt too. And the Thunderbolt as well, why not? Increases damage inflicted on opponents, but makes dodging and parrying impossible. I wasn't doing much of that anyway, so fine. There we go. Potion effects. Move the cursor over the effect icon. There we go, yeah. We pause and do that. Yeah, time left, 1 hour, 58 minutes. The potions last for a long time in this. The Thunderbolt lasts for 8 hours. Good grief, that's pretty awesome. As you can see, yeah, it's a very different system to what you're used to in most RPGs, and unfortunately, they kind of ditched it for the later games, and I always thought that was a bit rubbish, actually. I preferred it this way. It really set the game apart from your average action RPG, where you just pause and drink 500 potions, like in Skyrim, or something like that.
Ready, Geralt?
Mm-hmm. Is this your first real fight?
No, but I've never killed a man.
Stay close.
Okie dokie. Come on, Leo. The loading screens are a little bit longer than usual because of all the new textures I'm using, so I might edit some of these down in post if they get a bit too long. Luckily this one wasn't.
I've heard all of Dandelion's ballads about you. Lambert tells me I'll never be as fast as a real Witcher, but I managed to hit him during training today.
You beat Lambert?
Yeah, we were fencing on the floor pegs when that strange storm came. Lambert looked away, I did a pirouette, hit him right in the gut. he didn't fall, and then he beat me.
You'll make a good swordsman yet.
I know. Every time Lambert beats me, he says I have potential.
The game isn't doing much to explain this right now, but Garrett and the others, with the exception of Leo here, there's something called witches. They're professional monster hunters, and this place, Kaer Morhen, once upon a time was kind of the monster hunter version of Hogwarts, you know, or they used to train students here. Yeah, evading enemies. I can't actually do that now because I drank the Thunderbolt potion, but thanks anyway, game.
You squeal.
As you can see, though, Kaer Morhen at this point is in a little bit of a state.
You'll regret the day you were born.
I mean, obviously because it's full of bandits right now, but even before these guys arrived, it was in a bit of a state. And Geralt himself is a particularly famous witcher. The Dandelion, referred to in that conversation there, is a friend of Geralt's from the books, a bard called Dandelion, who sort of tells a lot of the stories about him, and I'm using the wrong damn combat style again. Again, if you've not read the books, you won't know who that person is. It's one of the things, or any of this stuff for that matter, which is one of the things that makes this game a little bit confusing to a total newcomer. And here we go, the third combat style, which is group style, which is dealing with large groups of enemies. It's going to make this a lot more easy to deal with. There we go. Hello, everybody. Alright, let's go group style, and yeah, we'll just swing all over the shop now. Probably switch to fast now, there's only 2 left. There we go. Excellent stuff. Can we go in here? No, it's locked. It is forbidden. There's a button to put your sword away normally, manually, without it waiting for it to do it automatically. I just don't remember what it is.
These stairs lead to the lab.
Follow me.
The energy you annexed from the Circle of Elements is enough to stop the witches?
You trembled, yet you complained Savola would have them all, leaving none for you. Did the sight of a single witcher, White Wolf himself, instill fear?
The aforementioned, considered dead I might add, is a known killer. I'll gladly challenge him.
Leo, stand back. Come on, Professor.
Time is essential. I wield the power of the Circle of Elements. They are no threat. Back to work. I want the mutagens ready for teleportation in 15 minutes. Our witches shan't trouble us.
We're cut off. The stairs are blocked.
The magic barrier looks solid. We need Triss.
They're robbing us. Geralt, clear the passage upstairs. Use a sign.
A sign?
The Ard. I can't do it since I broke my fingers training along the gauntlet. Cast the Ard at the debris.
I don't remember the signs.
Let's go to the Circle of Elements, a source of the power. You need to try and learn the Ard.
All right.
Right, there we go. The witches are superhuman, it should be noted. This talk of mutagens, that's what that's all about. The witches take these mutagen things to become mutants, effectively, which give them heightened strength and reflexes and all sorts of things like that, which make them better at slaying monsters in the first place. Elemental circles. Left-click on the elemental stone to learn a sign. They're also able to do magic via these signs.
Success?
We'll see in a minute.
I knew it would work.
Let's get back before Lambert kills the Frightener himself.
Very good. The Ard sign is a telekinetic force useful for clearing obstructed pathways or for knocking back opponents. Right-click on the target to cast the sign. Tip: knocked down or stunned enemies are easy to kill with a single strike. As we've seen, with a pommel strike, actually, as it turns out. That was so weird. The game has also casually spoiled the ending of the books, unfortunately. as I said, these flint used to light a fire, single use only. We'll take those. The game does spoil it. The professor there mentioned that Geralt is considered dead. That's because he dies at the end of the books. It's kind of a spoiler, but if you're playing the games, that spoiler is already spoiled for you, so apologies, but there it is.
Cast the Ard at the rubble blocking the stairs.
Right, yes, here we go. Like so. Instant loading screen.
What did you learn?
The bandits are in the lab, searching for something. The mage used the Circle of Elements to create a magic barrier.
The plague. You're all children. Why didn't you mention the circle?
Triss, child. It didn't seem important.
If the mage aligned with the circle, he can create a stable portal through which he'll travel to anywhere on the continent, taking your equipment with him.
All right, we made a mistake, but you said the mage was harmless.
I said I didn't know him. I think we should protect the lab above all.
Don't panic, Marigold. We know you'd like to see our witch's secrets.
Vesemir, if that idiot doesn't shut it, I'll...
Enough! Lambert, stop baiting Triss. Show her some respect. Triss, if we go to the lab, they'll have us surrounded. We know tactics.
Maybe we should split up.
Geralt's right. We need to protect the lab and kill the Frightener. Who goes where?
Only I can break the barrier. I'm going inside.
Vesemir?
I'll stay and handle the Frightener and Savola. What about you, Garrett? We may both need your help.
Alright, we have a choice here, the first of many in this game. We can either go to the lab with Triss, or we can help Vesemir with the Frightener, the big monster. And since I went with Triss to the lab the first time I played this, I think I'm going to go handle the Frightener with Vesemir. I've actually done both in the past, and honestly the Frightener is a bit less frustrating to deal with, so I'm going to go for that.
I'll handle the Frightener with Vesemir.
I'm going then.
You can't fight for us all. I'm going with you.
That's nice, Eskel, but I'm teleporting to your lab. Savola is mentally connected to the other mage. I'll use him as a beacon, and I could lose you along the way.
Be careful.
I'm a big girl. I'll manage.
Geralt, this tawny owl potion restores endurance. If there's a fight, hit the bell and cauldrons with the Ard. We need noise. I want them to hear us in Vizima.
Savola just cast a spell. Something's happening.
The ground is shaking. Feel it?
They're breaking through.
Watch out!
Okay, and just like that, it throws you straight into it. So, does the group style work on you guys? Yeah, it does actually, surprisingly well. Okay, but we're not really interested in fighting these random dudes right now. What we are interested in is these. Vesemir mentioned that we need to make lots of noise using these bells and stuff. Yeah, go away, you. Now, the first time I played this particular part of the intro, I completely forgot about that and wasn't paying attention, so I ended up just hacking away with my sword at the Frightener for ages, not getting anywhere and being very confused. Geralt's endurance, indicated by the yellow bar. In this case, I think that's a white bar? Yeah, it is a white. It's the colours and stuff have been changed because of the mods. It's a little bit confusing. It drops each time you use a sign. You cannot use signs when your endurance is too low. Yeah, it's effectively our mana. In any other game, that's what it would be. And now we need to ring this thing like a bell. There we go. Oh, it is yellow. It does turn yellow when you've got enough endurance, right? And then this one over here. Apparently that will be enough. Yeah, we don't have enough yet. Apparently there'll be enough noise to annoy the Frightener somewhat. Just hang in there, everybody. Waiting for the endurance to come back. It's taking a little while, actually. Nearly there. There we go. Right, that's all of them, I think. Have I missed something? It doesn't appear to be... Ah, the bell. And... Ah, no, it's timed. They don't... Can I just... Can I... There we go. I can ring it without... There we go. That's all three, I think. There we go. There we go. We got there at the end. Now, if we fight the Frightener, we can actually do some damage to it, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Well, we could for a little minute there. I think we've got to do it again now, so let's go and ring the bell. It's a bit of an awkward fight, this. More awkward than I remember it being, honestly. And... any minute now. I'm glad they're all hanging in there, though. That's good. Thankfully, they've all got ample amounts of plot armor, so they'll be just fine for now. Let me find the start. Yep, thanks, Eskel. Okay, all three are ringing, I think. And we can now damage it again properly. There we go. Dead monster.
They're ransacking the laboratory. The other mage is... I underestimated him. Hurry.
Did you hear Triss? They're destroying the lab. We can't let them steal our secrets.
Sorry to say, Triss was right. We must stop them. Garrett, you and Leo run to the lab. I'll tend to Triss. Be careful. We don't know who we're dealing with.
We'll do what we can, Vesemir.
Quick!
I found it. We have what we came for. Professor, deal with those witches.
I hear witches can parry bolts in flight. Let's see.
Leo, stop!
Ah! Another fairy tale.
What happened?
Smashed ribs, punctured lung. He's dying.
He needs White Rafford's decoction. Hang on, Leo. It was here. I can't find it.
Vesemir. Leo is dead.
How did this happen?
He attacked the professor. I was late.
It's not your fault, Geralt. We're all to blame. Triss barely made it fighting for us. These are bad times for Witchers, and something tells me they'll only get worse.
Is it safe up top?
Relatively. Some stragglers up there, but we'll deal with them later. You look tired. I'd like you to rest. I'll keep watch and tend to Leo's body.
Meditation. Left click on the meditation icon in the dialogue to enter meditation mode. And then you can choose how long and so on and so on. Yeah, worth noting, actually, in this game, unlike The Witcher 3, if you've played that, you can't meditate whenever and wherever you like. You have to do it in specific spots, usually around campfires or via dialogue options like this. So, let's rest a bit and prepare. Garrett will get down on his knees like he usually does, and here we can choose how long to meditate for. Let's just meditate for an hour. That's all we need to. But we can click here if we want noon, or dusk, or midnight, or dawn, or whatever. It has this game has an active day-night cycle, along with dynamic weather and all sorts of other things, which we take for granted these days, but were not a small deal necessarily in 2007. Oh no! What am I doing? 1 hour. There we go. Okay. Where's Vesemir gone? There he is.
They once laid me down here.
Ooh, on this rack thing? Ugh.
Eskel came by while you were resting. Triss is still unconscious, but stable.
That's a relief.
I've made a decision, Wolf. We abandon Kaer Morhen. There's nothing holding us here.
I see.
We need to bid Leo farewell and wait for Triss to recover.
And the bandits?
Yes, we need to finish things. But first, we must make a healing potion for Triss. We'll need to search for ingredients. Nothing useful left here.
I can do that. How do I make the potion?
Lambert will give you the formula. Look for him by the fireplace. He's with our brave sorceress.
Lambert? He doesn't hate Triss?
Feels guilty, I think. The first thing Triss will hear when she wakes is, "Finally awake, Marigold." That's Lambert. Let's get to work. Later, I'll teach you how to extract ingredients from monsters. I'll be in the main hall.
Fine.
That's Lambert, indeed. We've got a journal as well, which we can view with this. It's got all of our quests and things in. If we go to quests, there you go. Potion for Triss. That's our current objective. Go see Lambert in the main hall to find out how to brew the potion. I like how Garrett was like, I could do that. How do I make the potion? Obviously, you can't do it, Geralt, if you don't know how to make the
All that's
potion.
missing is a mage who'd know how to use this.
Yup. I mentioned that in the Enhanced Edition, they rewrote and revoiced a lot of the dialogue lines in the game. One of them was in that conversation there. In the original game from 2007, when Vesemir says that Triss is unconscious but stable, instead of saying that's a relief, Geralt instead says, good. And it kind of sounds like he's glad she's unconscious. It's really weird. I can see why they changed it.
Grasses. The smell is heady.
Mosses and grasses and weird-looking mushrooms, too, while we're at it, I think, mate. Look at the size of that one. Like, it's 3 times the size of your head, mate. It's huge. Anyway. I do like poking around at all the little weird devices and stuff. A lot of effort was clearly put into this particular room. I don't know much about how witches are created. I think it's an intentional mystery in the Witcher series. Oh, we'll definitely take those. But then again, I'm not much up on the lore of The Witcher. I'm trying to remedy that, actually, by reading my way through the books, actually, at the moment, because I think it's a very fascinating and interesting universe, but I don't know about as much about it as I'd like, even after having played all 3 games.
They'll pay for this.
They will indeed. Also random scrolls and stuff on the floor. Anyway, now that very extended action sequence at the start of the game is over, it's going to let us wander around a bit now. because the game is not all action from start to finish. You'd be forgiven for thinking that up to this point, but it actually involves an awful lot of exploration and talking to people and stuff, just as you'd expect from any old RPG, really. And that's a whetstone. We can use that to sharpen our sword, increase damage inflicted by 10%. Useful bit of kit, from what I can remember. Definitely want to collect those, and I don't know what is going on here. Let me out! There's an invisible wall thing. Oh, I see. It wouldn't let me jump off that, would it? Yeah, okay, weird. Good old Aurora engine. At it again. We diluted that, didn't we? Yep. Okay. Right, let's go upstairs. I went right past the bit I was supposed to go through, didn't I? What a genius.
Geralt, is something wrong?
No time to talk. I need to make a potion for Triss.
You should find a vial of white gull in the armory on the upper floor. Grab some calcium equum from the evening hall. Look for white stones in one of the chests. If you find any stragglers, finish them. We don't need prisoners. The stairs are through that door. I'd go, but Marigold lies unconscious by the fire.
Where's the calcium equum again? I actually wasn't listening there, I have to admit. I zoned out a bit.
Where's the calcium equum again?
In the evening hall, inside a chest.
Okay.
Where can I get some alcohol?
There should be white gull in a crate in the armory on the upper floor. The room's full of weapons, you'll know it when you see it.
Lambert, I have to tell you something.
What is it?
Leo. The bandits killed him.
He wasn't ready. What a loss. We'll hunt them down, Wolf. We'll avenge Leo.
I'll find you later.
Prepare potions in meditation mode. Gather the required ingredients first. Yeah, this is the game introducing us to alchemy, essentially, which is a big part of this game, actually. One of the things I particularly like about the original Witcher is that of the three games, I think in some ways this one does the best job of kind of simulating what it would actually be like to be a Witcher. As in, it has a very big, in-depth alchemy system and bestiary and all sorts, which
defending common folk, inspiring.
Was kind of missing from the second game a little bit, and they brought it back a little bit with the third game, but I always found the first game really nailed it, especially when it came to the potions and stuff like that. It's easy to sit here in 2020.
Seems witchers have always been better with a sword than with a paintbrush.
Yes. It's easy to sit here in 2020 and chuckle at the some of the very basic voice acting and dialogue translated from Polish, but
Witcher George, slaying the dragon.
But yeah, this game has a lot of things that make it good and definitely make it worth revisiting, even in spite of all the jankiness. It's interesting that you should mention. I don't know if Geralt's being sarcastic there or not. That's the interesting thing, because I remember in the books he explains that witches don't generally slay dragons. Or maybe that was just specifically he didn't slay dragons. Interesting, but anyway. Right. Hello, Triss. She doesn't have much to say. Very noisy for someone who's supposed to be unconscious, mind you. And there's the fireplace. We can meditate here, and we can also do alchemy and stuff while we're at it. If we want to. We actually don't want to right now, though, because... how do I... Oh, God. I think it just meditates 0 hours. There we go. I think you'll just get back up again if I do that. There we are. Because we need to go upstairs and go find alchemy bits so we can make this potion for her. Although, folks, I think that's going to be next time, because we've just gone past the hour mark, according to this. So, and that's a bit much for just one video, so I'll join you in part 2, ladies and gentlemen, where we'll be going upstairs, up there. up that slightly treacherous-looking staircase to go and get some potion bits so we can revive poor old Triss, who's feeling a little bit under the weather. I'll join you for that, folks. Catch you next time. Toodaloo.